Everyone got it? Anyone need another minute? Not quite there? All right, so we are doing 2 lessons today. You guys have the benefit of having 2 days to get them done, but you do have a 10-1 homework assignment that's due on Friday and a 10-2 homework assignment that's due on Friday. I would probably not wait till Thursday night to do both of them because it ends up being kind of a lot. Be thankful you're not on the Thursday block. All right, are we good now? Everyone got it? Okay. You should be able to tell me this first formula. How do you find the area of this rectangle? B times H. Base times height, right? B for base, H for height. Does it matter which side is B and which side is A? H. It doesn't. You could call this your base and you could call this your height, and that would be just fine too. I'm not going to because I don't want to confuse you, but that's the area of a rectangle formula, okay? Anyone know this one, a parallelogram? What if we took this and we just moved it right here? What do you see? A rectangle. It is exactly the same as a rectangle. It's your base and your height. Now notice the difference, so base times height, the difference is your height is not the side of the figure, okay? This piece right here, not the height. The height has to be perpendicular, okay? So H has to be the perpendicular, and then it makes this perfect rectangle again, base times height, okay? So parallelogram or rectangle, doesn't matter. You're going to use the same formula. So we're going to do a little bit of finding area. We're not even going to find the area of a rectangle. The only reason I show you the area of a rectangle here is to get you to the area of a parallelogram. So take a look at this. Again, like I said, you always need to know what is the figure you're working with. This is a parallelogram. I always write parallelogram like that. So in a parallelogram, we just said the area formula. And by the way, this is what will get you points on your test. If you can give me that, but you plug nothing in right, I will give you points still. Because what it shows me is that you at least knew that that was a parallelogram, and the formula you use for a parallelogram is B times H, okay? So if you want to play it safe on quizzes and tests, write the formula that you're using to start, and then plug things into it, okay? So looking at this, can you tell me what number can be a base right now? 5. Is there anything else that could be a base? 4 can't be a base. 4.5 can be a base, okay? Now the issue is 4.5 doesn't have a height associated with it. If I were to draw in a perpendicular right here, this could be the height if 4.5 was the base, okay? So with a parallelogram, people always think, oh, the base has to be the bottom. Base doesn't have to be bottom. Base has to be a side of the parallelogram. The height has to be perpendicular to it. So in this one, what base and height are we going to use? 5 and 4. Base and height. Okay, this is B, this is H. So base times height is 5 times 4. So your area, guess who's going to be real picky about units this chapter? 20 what? Inches. Sure about that? Squared. Area is always square units. Okay, so 20 square inches is your answer. Questions on that? Okay, this one looks a little different. What numbers could be a base right now?
2 or 3.5.
2, not 3.5, or 4.6, okay? Any side of the parallelogram can be a base. The one that you're going to use has to have a perpendicular to it. What is your height going to be?
3.5.
The 3.5. The height is always the one that's perpendicular to a base. So if this is my height, then which base do we have to use?
2.
The 2, right? It is perpendicular to the 2. Now, if this had a 3, is your base 5?
No.
Nope. Your base is only the side of the figure. would not include this extra little piece here, okay? So area equals base times height is gonna be area equals 2 times 3.5. So the area of that parallelogram is what? 7 what?
Squared.
Centimeters squared.
Couldn't you do 4.6 times 2?
You cannot do 4.6 times 2 because that's two sides of the figure. They're not perpendicular to each other, and your base and height have to be perpendicular to each other.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Questions on that? Okay, so now we're going to take this idea and we're going to get a little fancy with it. Example number 2 here says find DE. Okay, that's this guy right here. We'll just call that X for now. Find DE to the nearest tenth. I want you to take a look at that and I want you to just think through. Is there some way I could find X? If you think you see it, let me know. You see it, Callie? Yeah, there is a triangle there. We're not going to use that triangle because it doesn't take care of the rest of it for us, but there is a triangle there. Can you find the area of the shaded parallelogram right now?
Yeah,
With what?
13 and 9.
13 and 9. Okay, so I could find the area by saying the base, this base, right? Because what is perpendicular to the 13 is the 9. Okay, so 13 times 9 gives me the area of that parallelogram. 13 times 9 is 117 square inches. Okay, so I know the area of the parallelogram. What does X have to do with the area of the parallelogram? Yeah, Julia.
It's the height, so 117 divided by 9.4.
Right. It's the height associated with the 9.4, right? If I look at that as my base and this as my height, I could say 9.4 times the height, times X, if you will. So 9.4 times the height should equal the area. The area doesn't change because you used a different set of numbers, right? The area of a figure is the area of the figure. So the area is still going to be 117, and then we're going to divide by 9.4. So we get X or H, I should have just called it one or the other, sorry. To the nearest tenth, which is what they asked for, would be 12.4 inches or inches squared? Inches. It's a height, right? It's not the area that we found. It's the height of the figure. Height is always a length, so you don't do squared on that one. Questions on that? Okay. Jump over to the side here. I was trying to conserve space a little bit. The next thing we're going to talk about are triangles. And I feel like people always come in with a different formula for the area of a triangle. They're all right, and I don't care which one you use. The way I learned it as a kid is the way I've always done it, but I feel like I am not the majority, so I'm sorry. I always do it one way. A lot of times you guys do it a different way. You're welcome to do it whichever formula you like. What's the formula you know for the area of a triangle?
1/2 base times height divided by,
1/2 base times height. Are you done?
Took us a second. Yeah, there's not even that many things in there, but
Oh,
she wants to
gosh.
go to Trader Joe's. So, because she wants to get dip. And she said she wants to make sushi, so she's gonna go to the Korean store. No,
Okay.
she's a pet.
This is nothing.
It'll be
You
fun.
can't eat for a weekend on this.
No, I know, but I'm assuming like we'll go out to get food. I don't know how to cook anything.
They have some pre-made stuff.
No, it's okay. We'll be fine. Because I kept saying things, and she's like, well, I can just bring that. I'm like, Christine, like, what?
Food. Okay, so what you guys maybe have done in the past, I heard some of you say, is base times height divided by 2. You may use either one of those. They're the same thing, okay? So however you want to see it, run with it, all right? So 1/2 base times height divided by 2. You're using one of those formulas to do this. Technically, there should be a right angle right here. I didn't put it in. Looking at this triangle, can you tell me what number could be a base of the triangle?
14.
10. Only 10. It has to be the length of a side of the triangle. So this is going to be B. Okay? Now the height, just like with a parallelogram, has to be perpendicular. So what number has to be my height right now?
6.4.
6.4. So if I'm trying to find the area of this triangle, I'm saying area equals 1/2 times 10 times 6.4, or 10 times 6.4 divided by 2 would be the same thing. That works out to the area. And you can just plug that into your calculator. I don't expect you to do mental math with that, especially with a decimal there. That would be 32. 32 what?
Squared feet.
32 square feet.
How come you didn't combine 10 and 4?
A base has to be the length of a side, just like with the parallelogram. This dotted line implies that it's not part of the triangle, right?
Oh.
Right? That's not part of the triangle. If you did 10 and 4, you'd be finding this triangle.
Yeah.
We're looking for just the solid triangle, this one. Okay? Okay. Letter B. Does anyone recognize those numbers, 5, 12, and 13? It's a Pythagorean triple. What does that mean?
It means that it's a right triangle.
It means it's a right triangle. So this is a right triangle. I won't expect you to just know that looking at numbers, but I always like to verify. I'll typically give you a right angle there, but you should know that that's a right triangle because you know 5, 12, and 13 is a Pythagorean triple, okay? If this is the case, if that's a right angle, what is your base and what is your height?
12 and 5.
Interchangeably, right? 5 and 12, 12 and 5. It doesn't matter which one is which. One is the base, one is the height, or you could flip-flop them, right? So you're saying area is 1/2 times 12 times 5. Can you do that in your head?
60.
60 divided by
A is 30.
60 cut in half is 30. And then its area, so square centimeters. Okay? All right, last one here is the fun one. Throw it all together. What do you see in this figure?
Rectangle and a triangle.
A rectangle and a triangle, okay? I want to know the area of the whole thing. Now, there is no formula for a house on its side, if you will. So we break it into the rectangle and the triangle. Okay? So what is the area of the rectangle going to be?
5 times 12.
5 times 12. Base and height, 5 times 12, or 60 square centimeters. Okay, so that's part of my answer, is that blue rectangle. The triangle requires a little extra thought. Can you tell me the base or the height of the triangle?
The height is 5. And then the base is
16. Height is 16. Oh, no.
Oh no, height is 4, base is
It's
5.
4, yes.
Yes, the base we're going to use is this, okay? We know that because of this 5 over here. A rectangle has congruent sides across from each other. So your base is 5. The height has to be perpendicular to it. So the height has to go like this, okay? How did you figure out that's 4?
because you're
16
60
minus
minus 12.
12.
16 is the whole length. 12 is this portion of it. So 16 minus 12 is going to get you 4 for your height. So the area of the triangle is going to be 1/2 times the base times the height. So 1/2 times 5 times 4, or half of 20, if you will. That area is going to be 10. We were working in centimeters. Okay, so what is the area of the figure?
70 centimeters squared.
60 plus 10, or 70 square centimeters. Okay, any questions on that?